Hey, Nate. So I wanted to ask you, like, being a small town guy, being from a small town, and kind of being like the pride of everybody in that area. I guess, like, how unique of a position is that to be in? To be like everybody knows who you are, everybody knows how you play and perform. How do you kind of handle that?
I think it's a pretty cool experience. Um, I enjoy it. I enjoy all of my friends and my family who always either text me or call me, after a game or whenever, and just ask, how we're doing or how I'm doing. And we also have a linebacker as well, Lakia Henry. He starts at Ole Miss right now, and so that's another small hometown name. It feels good, and I'm sure he would say the same. It feels good to represent for Vadea because not many D1 athletes have come out of Vadea. So,
Hey, Nate, I was wondering if you could tell us what some of the differences are between your past kicker Rodrigo and your new kicker Jack Bud Lesney, specifically with how Rodrigo's sort of a legend around the Georgia program.
yeah, definitely. Rod, he was a different breed. He was, crazy with the kicks and anything you asked of him, he would do it. I think Jack is the same way though. Um, he was up under Rod. He got to learn all of his tricks, and he got to learn how he would do things. And Jack has come a long way, and I think he's a pretty good kicker. And he proved that in the Arkansas game, and he's been proving that in practice. That's why he's starting. So if he continues to work, he might have a shot at the NFL too.
Mike Griffith, then Dean Legge, please.
Yeah, Nick, can you talk a little bit about the work you got in there at Arkansas and how you feel like you've improved since last season there?
Yeah, it was. I had fun going into the Arkansas game. It's always fun getting in on defense. I made 2 tackles. Coming from last season, my weight has dropped a little bit. I don't think it's a huge deal. I'm still fast. I'm still physical. That's how I was raised up, and that's how the coaches teach us here. Um, I would say from last year to this year, I think that mentally I'm more prepared for the games or more prepared for practice. Things are a little bit easier to see. And that comes with the maturity of the game and getting reps. So I think that's probably the biggest thing that I've seen in myself from last year to this year.
Nate, you're one of the guys with obviously with a lot of talent that probably could start at several other places, and yet you stay at Georgia. We've seen a lot of guys that have stayed at Georgia rather than hit the portal. Can you talk about the decision to stay and compete for playing time rather than go somewhere where you could probably start right away?
Yeah, well, I love it here. I love the guys here. The coaches are awesome. I mean, they're the best. I believe they're the best coaches in the conference and in the nation. So who better to learn from? Also, I look past football because I know football doesn't last forever, and the connections here that I would get, the networking that I would get, will set me up for a great job afterwards. And the education here also is really good. So that's probably the biggest reason I've stayed. Besides loving who I'm with.
Hey, Nate, I wanted to ask about special teams as it relates to a new guy coming in with Cochran. Beyond him being there, have you noticed anything that's changed that resulted that gave y'all the results that you had at Arkansas? It seemed pretty dominant on Saturday.
Yeah, since Coach Cochran's gotten here, special teams has always been a huge deal to Coach Smart. But having Coach Cochran here and then Coach Hartley as well doing the special teams, they bring that juice every day that wants or makes us want to get better at special teams because special teams is also a very big avenue that could lead you straight into the pros. And you might not start on defense or offense, but if you're on special teams and you get into the league and you play on special teams, that's $600K a year, and that sounds pretty nice.
Dash, then Julian, please.
Hey, Nate, good to see you, man. Aziz was asked this question a little bit ago as far as the crowd noise, the artificial noise and whatnot. at Arkansas the other day. How much did it seem like a regular road game? How much difference was it? Could you tell what was real and what was fake?
Honestly, I overheard Aziz, and I would agree with him. It sounded pretty real, and we get that same, crowd noise with over the speakers or whatever in practice as well, and it sounds real. At practice, it's a lot louder, so it kind of hurts your ears sometimes. But when you're in there, you honestly don't even hear it because you're focused in on what you got to do. But like Aziz said, I mean, it sounded pretty real, and especially with the other fans, yelling as well.
Hey Nate, so just to talk about Arkansas and preparing for Auburn, all position groups turned a corner against Arkansas, but needed to be woken up a little bit, it seemed like. So how do you cut that time needed to really get up to game speed, and how important is it to do that faster against Auburn?
It all starts with practice. You practice harder than the game would be, so it'll make the game easy, and that's what the coaches, they really think is a big deal. Always make practice harder. We gotta, take each rep like it is a game. We gotta do different things, like run to the ball when we're tired, because that's what you're gonna do in the game. So you simulate the game in practice as much as you can. So when you get to the game, it makes it a lot easier.
Thank you.
Mark, then Chip, please.
And are you on the punt team in coverage?
I am not starting, but I'm on it.
Okay. Well, you're a big special teams guy, though. Just curious how much pride you guys took to see Jake and the unit kind of pin them inside the 10 a bunch of times, and how much what that means for you guys.
That was crazy. I'm sure it's happened before, but it probably doesn't happen often. And for Jake to be able to put it inside the 10 4 times and then inside the 20 once to make it 5 inside the 20, I mean, that's just unbelievable. And then our guys that cover down, and Tyson Campbell, and then Eric Stokes or Matt Landers, they're so fast, they can get down there so quick. It's it's definitely an asset, and it switches the field and makes it easier on the defense and the offense.
Thanks.
Nate, you're obviously a veteran guy, has been around a long time. I just wonder the whole COVID factor of the season. I guess I'll be bold enough to ask if you've had to deal with it personally, and just what is all the protocols and all the hoops that you guys have to jump through. What is that like? How do you process that? And does it make you nervous, or is it just par for the course nowadays?
I would say at first everybody was nervous, especially with the students coming back, because I know most schools went straight online. But after a while, it was kind of a regular thing. The coaches are always saying, wear your mask, put on hand sanitizer. We got to get tested regularly. So, it's pretty much part of the everyday life. And honestly, it's hard to remember not even wearing a mask before this, because I've been so used to wearing one.
Thank you.
Let's go to Jed, and then we'll end with either Palmer or Jake. I'll let you guys flip the coin.
Hey, Nate, I wanted to ask you, going back to Brandon's question about representing Vidalia, what is that like? What do you know about what guys or what people do back there? Are they having watch parties for your games? I know you said they text you after. Just kind of, how much do you feel that support knowing everyone's watching you on Saturdays?
It feels good. Like I said, I love it when, I get a phone call or I get a text. I'll get some pictures sent to me that say go Nate, or, go Lakia. He's my friend that plays at Ole Miss. It's really cool because, you grew up around the same people. It's a small town, pretty much everybody. And, just to have those people back you up, the hard times don't seem as hard and the good times seem even better.
Hey Nate, I wanted to ask you about special teams, and I think a lot of people have this impression that you guys just kind of get put in a spot, you run down the field, you do your job, and then that's it. But what kind of mental preparation, schematic meetings, stuff like that goes into it? How much goes into it, and what's a meeting like with Scott Cochran?
It's a very important aspect of the game, and Coach Smart and Coach Cochran and even all the other position coaches, they say that as well, and they believe in special teams. We go through special teams every day. It's not just like, once a week, all right, here's what we're going to do on punt return, or here's what we're going to do on kickoff. I mean, it's an everyday thing where we're, trying to make each other better, because once you get that good, or if you get that good field position, it just makes the game 10 times easier for the offense or for the defense. So it's, it's really important, and they continue to harp on that every year, and that's why we're so successful.
And what's that meeting like when you go in with Scott Cochran? What's kind of he like in that setting?
Oh, it's juiced up. He, they always got music playing when we're walking in, and then he's always yelling, and Coach Hartley's, always clapping, and it's a real fun and good learning environment for us.